about. Anyway, we'll be covering the Republican National Convention, but already we're getting something of a preview. We will be, as John said, at both conventions covering the race for the White House for ABC6, as well as the 4 other TV stations owned by our parent company, Citadel Communications. Our sister station in the Quad Cities of Iowa and Illinois scored a bit of a coup this week with a sit-down one-on-one interview with Republican candidate Mitt Romney. The former Massachusetts governor talked about his focus on the economy and also about the negative tone the campaign has taken of late.
I'm going to help Americans have good jobs again with more take-home pay. I spent my life in the private sector. I know why jobs go. I know how to bring them back. And I'm going to make America the best place once again for small business, for entrepreneurs, for innovators, and create more good jobs with rising wages. Look, we can talk about differences on policy, but these kind of character attacks, I think, have been unfortunate. They're highly divisive of the American people, and I think it diminishes the presidency.
The president, of course, takes a different view on the economy, saying that the Romney campaign favors providing more tax cuts for those in the highest income groups. The 2 conventions, though, will allow voters to see a back-to-back week-long contrast in styles between the 2 campaigns and the 2 candidates. So we get going to Tampa on Sunday. It's going to be interesting to watch. We'll be in Charlotte the following week.
A new Associated Press poll, Mark, came out and said essentially Americans are split right down the middle at this point. How concerned do you think the Romney campaign is that you had Paul Ryan as the VP on the ticket and really didn't get the bounce I think they were hoping for?
They might not have got the bounce they were looking for, but if you go back 2 or 3 weeks, the Romney campaign was down 6 or 7 points in the poll. I saw one today, a composite poll that has it, this is kind of a summary of all the recent polls. Obama 46.7%, Romney 45.3%, so 1.4%. As we always like to say, that is well within the margin of error. This thing is, I mean, toss a coin right now if you got one in your pockets, folks.
That comes down to all those states. What do you say, 6 states?
6 or 7 states, and this is the other interesting thing. There are about 7 or 8 battleground states. Iowa is one of them. Wisconsin, of course, with Paul Ryan. Ohio, Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, Colorado, New Hampshire, and Nevada. I think that's all of them, and I think it totals 9. New York Times poll today says it's tightening in Florida. It is tightening up in Ohio, and it is tightening up in Wisconsin, which, of course, is where Paul Ryan is from. They really need to win all 3 of those states if the Republicans expect to win. President Obama with a slight lead in all 3 of those states right now, but the gap is closing as we speak.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Mark. And once again, just to emphasize, Mark will be at the Republican National Convention, bringing you live reports from Tampa, weather permitting, all next week. And then the following week, he heads to Charlotte, where he'll be reporting from the Democratic National Convention. That runs September 4th through the 6th. 5:07 time now for checking your forecast. Here's Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Kevin Coskren joining us. Kevin, all the talk about Isaac.
You got it, John. And when Mark travels down there, he's been talking to me for the last couple of days. Hey, what's Isaac going to do? Well, it looks like the possible landfall of what is now Tropical Storm Isaac still several days away, but if it holds the current track, it's going to be early Monday in the south tip of Florida, taking the brunt perhaps of a Category 1 hurricane. And most of the models are now agreeing, taking it along the west coast of Florida. Bad news for Mark and anybody else going to the convention in Tampa, because this projected model is going to bring it very close to the west coast of Florida, possibly as a Category 1 hurricane. But as Mark likes to say with political polling, you have a margin of error of a few points. Well, in a hurricane forecast, you have a margin of error of a few hundred miles, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Right now, it looks like it's going to move into the Gulf of Mexico, though, Isaac, I should say, early next week. First forecast for southern New England. Let's switch gears back to where we live. 82 is the temperature out there right now with some hazy sunshine, and as we head after sunset, we'll fall to the 70s once again. And, John, we are looking good for the weather, which we've seen all week. And it's going to stay that way for the next few days.
Speaking of looking good, I love that shot on your weather center over there. It looked gorgeous.
Oh, it feels good.
You took my line.
Oh,
we want to introduce the new
set
here at ABC6. If you haven't noticed, we've made some huge changes here at ABC6 over the past week, couple days.
Yes, it's been just about a week. We were at a temporary set, but that is a thing of the past. We want to give you a full look at the finished product. Here it is. Our crew has been working hard on this set for several days. It began on the weekend, been working almost right up until news time, of course, just putting on the finishing touches, and we're so happy and proud of our beautiful new set. And I could say at ABC6, I've been for a few set changes.
How many?
I like the last one. I love this one.
Yeah.
How many has it been?
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know. It's been The better part of 5, probably.
Wow.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say you've been here for a few centuries, a few set changes. You're not that old,
I thought
John.
we were
You're
buddies,
looking
Kevin.
good.
What happened? I thought we had a nice relationship we're developing. He just
No,
insults me. Like that.
they tell me around here, the more you can kid around with somebody, the more you
I'm
like
just
them. That's
kidding.
because
That's
people
right.
are giving me the business all over the place.
That's right. All right. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, well, still to come tonight on ABC 6 News at 5, a Cranston waitress rewarded 1,000 full